Hi, I'm Mark, the Christian gun owner, here with you today, and I appreciate you stopping in today. Oftentimes, I'm like a lot of other people, in trying to get something absolutely perfect on video, I neglect to get the good that I need to put out in front of people and don't get it put out. So today, I threw all that out trying to get the perfect, and I'm doing a video from the cave of my office, my home office here, about some holsters here. So I wanted to get this to you today. I didn't want to not get it out because I can't get over to the range for the next few days. We're 1 week away from Christmas. A lot of people that own guns or are considering gun ownership or have just got their first gun are looking for all kinds of things, holsters and all kinds of accessories that they're looking for the guns. So I wanted to give you a heads up about a particular type of holster that's on the market now in a lot of different places, and one that I found that in this particular brand is extraordinarily good. So forgive the echo, any oddities in lighting here. Let's talk about these holsters. This is a holster, a type of holster that's being made today, and I'm adjusting this for the autofocus on the camera here, but that type holster right there with this particular type of clip on it right here. I don't mean just a clip like that. I'm talking about that exact type of clip with two fasteners up here. It's wide and it should ride right against the holster like that one does. This is I don't know what brand this is because it's not imprinted on here. I bought this at a large retailer, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and I don't remember what brand it is. But the two that I'm going to be talking to you about today are the same brand. They are CYA Supply Holsters. These are two that I just bought this past week. I put them to use already. And I'll tell you a little bit more about them here in just a minute. Again, like so many other holster makers that are coming out with these type designs, they have those clips on them, that type of clip. So what makes one holster different than another? Well, I'm going to start out with this one that I said I don't know what the brand is, and I'm going to tell you what the issues were with it and the problems were with it when I bought it. Now, all these holsters are about the same price. None of them are very expensive. They all run in the $30 to $40 range, so they're not expensive. They are molded kydex, and here's what the deal was with this holster when I bought it and got it home and started using it and fooling with it a little bit. One of the worst things on so many holsters that are like this right here that have this clip or any other type of plastic clip on them with keepers up here is that these keepers generally have a pretty thick little rubber washer on it or the screws have a rubber washer that go down over them, and you screw them into some keepers that go through the holes in the holster. In so many of those holsters, even the ones that are more expensive, some of the ones that are more expensive, what will happen is no matter how you screw down those screws, no matter how tight you get them, no matter if you move them in canting your holster a little bit, doesn't matter how you screw them down, what should be this clip riding hard against the holster ends up like this. Now I'm trying to get this up here. Hopefully you can see that in the camera there. I think it's getting, excuse me. I think you can see that. What ends up is a gap in that clip right there that does not go away. In other words, you put that down over, it may be narrower than the width of your belt, but when you put it down over your belt and you're sitting somewhere with it, if you've got it on an appendix position or on your hip, when you sit down and you start moving around, any of those holsters where the clip will not ride hard against the body of the holster, you're going to have that thing coming off your belt with your gun in it. So I took this one, and that's what this one did. So I took this one, and because I have used it quite a bit, it's passable. I took it, and by the way, it's for a Glock 23. I've used it for a Glock 23. I took it and I took this clip off, and what I did with the clip was I took the keepers out, took the washers off, took that off, and instead of putting those washers between the clip and the holster, I put the keepers back in the back, and I put this clip right up against the holster body. Then I put the washers on, then I screwed the screws down, and that gave me this right here. Exactly what has to happen for this holster to be secure and safe, holding your gun and keeping it on the belt that you put it on. So what if those screws move? Will they move around eventually? Of course they will. So what I did with that was I took I took some super glue gel. Actually, I took this stuff right here. I took this super glue gel right here and I squirted it in the keepers on the back, all around the edges of them. I squirted it all around the washers and the screws, and then I squirted it all around the clip itself up against the body, let it dry overnight before I did anything with it. That's not coming off your belt, but it would have before. In fact, it did come loose from my belt a couple of times. When I was sitting down for a while and I was moving around, it came loose from my belt. Not anymore. Now, this holster I've got my Glock pistol over here. Excuse me just a minute. This is a Glock 23, 3rd generation, no magazine. It is clear, it's been cleared visually and physically. Pulling the trigger in a safe direction. This is a Glock 23. The Glock 23 going down into this holster, it goes in okay, but there's no decisive lock-in. It doesn't lock in. It just you feel pressure on it as it goes in until it seats. Pulling it out means you have to drag it against whatever is holding it down instead of locking into place with a keeper inside here with a keeper lump, for lack of a better term. It simply gets squeezed by the holster, and when you drag it out, you're dragging it against what's holding it in. So it's not a smooth draw. It does not lock into place decisively. It doesn't mean it won't hold it if you put the retention screw down tight enough. But when you put that retention screw down tight enough, it is very difficult to get out of the holster. So consequently, that was just an issue with it. But once I got it down on my belt, I could use it, and again, it was passable. The holster has an open end muzzle on it here for somebody that wants to use a gun that might possibly have a threaded barrel or something like that. It is open on the end, so you can run the gun through it, or you can use a training gun with it. That's one thing. I use it as a training holster now, also because I have a Glock 17 size training pistol. This also does not have a sweat shield on the back of it. Now, some of you may hate sweat shields. These have full sweat shields on the back of them. Let me tell you about sweat shields. I don't like them either. I hate them. I don't like them as far as the way I feel, as far as them pushing into my side or to my stomach or whatever. But the reality is, if you're going to wear an inside the waistband holster, you want all you can to assist you in preventing things from getting into your holster and consequently into your trigger guard as you holster. Of course, you got to watch that as the main thing, but sweat shields assist you in keeping things from inadvertently sliding into your holster. So these have a sweat shield. This does not. On the bottom of this holster, again, this is not even the holster I'm reviewing. I'm just showing you the disadvantages of this particular holster as I go. On the bottom here, it's the edges of the holster here are pulled together and closed down. And I'll show you what that means here in a few minutes. That means, well, actually it means when you draw your gun, your finger down here, this finger's on the side of it right here because that's where you want your finger to come up on your gun, but your middle finger here is sliding up your holster. It's not on the gun. So all the way out of the holster it's sliding, 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 and then finally hits the gun right there. I'll show you the disadvantage to that, and well, actually that is the disadvantage to it, is that your middle finger doesn't touch the gun, or doesn't get under the trigger guard until the gun comes out of the holster. So that is this holster right here. You'll find that there are holsters made out, this one was, again, it was in the $30 to $40 range. You'll find these holsters made $80, $90 that will be no better than this one right here. They're made by various manufacturers. So that's what this holster is. That's what they can be. That's what I did to this one. And by the way, any holster that you get, don't be afraid to modify it. Because people that, you would think that holsters would be one of the simplest things that we would be dealing with as gunners, but it's, unfortunately, in this day and age, it's not, because there's so many variants of holsters out there, so many different kinds that are made. Everybody swears theirs is the best. These are so simple, you wouldn't think, you know, why would I even mess with one of those when I can get something like alien gear? Well, I'll show you here in just a minute. So what I've got here is the holsters that I'm actually reviewing here and showing you, and these are CYA holsters. This one is for a Smith & Wesson Shield. This one is for a Glock 23. You can see the difference in them as far as the size goes, and you can see how far up the sweat shield comes on this one as opposed to this one, which is an issue. I'll show you, this is my Glock 23 going into this gun. You hear that? You hear the lock in when you push this gun in, because right here where the trigger guard reaches this area right here, there are two indentions which make lumps on the inside of that holster, and that's what catches the trigger guard. So it's not squeezing it into place, it's locking it into place with just those keepers, so that when you pull, when you give a decisive pull, it doesn't drag against anything. It pops loose and it comes straight out. Another thing it has is this holster completely covers the trigger guard. You can see that it's covering the trigger guard. Let me get it well focused here. You can see that it covers the trigger guard. But on these holsters, as opposed to a ridge that comes out here where your finger is not touching the gun, this finger's not touching the gun until it comes out of the holster. On these holsters, there's an opening here for the trigger guard, so that as soon as you get a grip on that gun, your finger is touching the gun, not the holster on the bottom. When it comes out, there's no adjustment to be made. There's no finger falling onto the trigger guard. It comes out and your hand is on it. On the CYA holsters, no adjustment needed to make this happen. Those clips are tight. Those clips are tight against that holster. That's not coming off your belt. I wore this one with Glock 23 in it in an appendix position right down the front here in church last week. Yes, it is legal here in Arkansas to wear guns in church with enhanced concealed carry licenses or with permission. So I have both of those. But I wore this in an appendix position, Glock 23. That's a good sized pistol. Sitting down, leaning back a little bit, leaning forward, legs crossed, appendix position. Was it completely satisfactory as far as comfort? No. That trigger guard right there, or excuse me, the sweat shield, what I will do with this one right here, I haven't done it yet because I want to do a review on it. What I'll do with this sweat shield is I'll cut about 3/4 of an inch off of that, about right there. I want the sweat shield. I just don't want this feeling like I got a butter knife sticking in my side or in my stomach when I'm in church. So I'll cut that sweat shield off about 3/4 of an inch down and smooth it off, and that'll be good to go. It's funny that the edge of the gun, in this particular case, a Glock 23, is rounded. But this comes up right to the edge of it, and that edge right there is what jabs right into your ribs or stomach or side or whatever it is. So taking that off right there takes care of that, and it still gives you the advantage of helping you make sure that nothing gets down into the holster with your gun or in your trigger guard. These are not open on the end. I mean, they don't have a fully open muzzle on the end. You couldn't get a bigger gun in them or use a threaded barrel. You can see that right there. It's closed on the end, but they are cut perfectly for the gun. It locks perfectly into place. The retention works very well. You have 2 retention screws here. You can adjust that, fine tune it for your gun and how you like to carry. Again, great clip and retention on your belt there. Nothing you have to worry about on any of that. It does have a raised sight channel right here. Raised sight channel, which that other holster had that too. And a lot of holsters have them today with the recognition that a lot of people are going to put suppressor sights on them, but on this one that really isn't an issue just because this gun won't work, this holster won't work with a threaded barrel. They're just routinely molded like that. The other holster I have here is for a Smith & Wesson Shield. Again, this is a cleared one. There's no magazine in it. It's cleared. It's been cleared both visually and physically. Smith & Wesson Shield. This one has 1 retention screw down at the bottom here because that's all it needs. Shorter barrel, smaller gun, that's all it needs down there. It locks into place very nicely. You can hear it. It locks into place, holds the gun. Same thing down on the bottom right here. Again, the clip is just exactly what it needs to be. You wouldn't think there'd be that much difference in the holster that I showed you at first and these holsters, even though they look all exactly the same, almost, have the same type of clip. You wouldn't think there'd be that much difference, would you? But I can promise you there is. Get the wrong one and you'll fool with it forever and probably throw it in a box with the ones that we all gather over the years. Get the right ones and you'll be using them for a long time to come. So, CYA Supply Company, they turn out this type holsters for just about every known consumer handgun on the market today. You can get a holster for them. Great thing about them right now is on their website, I'm facing a computer screen right now. It says, and I'm looking at their website, even here a week before Christmas, it says free shipping on all orders, no lead time, ships in 1 business day. You see, I looked at some others, like on We the People holsters, which makes a good holster. They're about, some of them are about the price of these, some a little bit more, $15, $20 more, but they make different variants of it. And they make some in some pretty dramatic colors and designs too. But their lead time was off the charts. I ordered these a week and a half ago and got them in a couple days. And We the People said, you know, if you don't order it after today, you won't get it before Christmas. So there's too much lead time with We the People and a lot of other holster makers. Though that doesn't exclude anybody from getting those. You do what you want to do as far as waiting on anything. If you want to wait on a design from We the People, but these are very, very good, excellent holsters in this design right here. And again, no lead time, shipped 1 business day. You can order it directly from their website and get free shipping on all orders with no lead time, or you can order them. They're also an Amazon seller. They have a store linked to Amazon also, so you can order these from Amazon, or you can order from their website. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can get them in the same amount of time. I ordered mine through Amazon, my Amazon Prime account, and had them on my front porch in 2 days. So there's really no downside to these holsters right here. There just is no downside to them. Again, any holster that you get, don't be afraid to modify it. But when you buy these type holsters right here, even though they're excellent in quality, you're not breaking the bank, and you shouldn't be afraid to modify them however you need to. But on these right here, I can tell you there will be very little modification you will need to wear it either on your side or to wear it in an appendix position. There'll be very little modification needed, other than for possible comfort on the front of it right here, which I will deal with that on this one. Last thing I'm going to show you here just right quickly is I'll show you the Smith & Wesson shield in the holster in an appendix position, what that looks like, and then draw it a couple times just to show you what it looks like right quickly here. So this is Smith & Wesson shield in a CYA holster. I'm wearing it on my hip over here. And by the way, the sweat guard on this one is no issue. I'm leaving this one up the way it is. With the size of this gun, the length of it, and the length of the sweat guard, it's no problem. Can't feel it any different than I can the gun. And I'll show it to you in appendix position in just a minute. But there it is on my hip. And it comes out just like that. Right here, out it comes. Draw stroke is as smooth as it can be, but you've already seen the retention on it. Now, for those of you who are inclined, here we go. Now, some of you may know, if you've followed my channel and so forth, that I have not been a fan of appendix carry in all the years I've been carrying guns. I put it off except for with revolvers. I'm actually gravitating towards it at this point because I have to acknowledge how fast it is to be able to get to a gun in the appendix position. But in any case, you can see as far as concealment goes, I'm just wearing I'm kind of thick, so I'm not actually built for appendix carry and this type of thing because I can't say because of my body type everything just covers just the way it's supposed to. But what I can say is, just with a t-shirt on here, the gun conceals just fine. In the appendix position right here, Out it comes. Comfortable here too. No problem with the sweat shield whatsoever. Out it comes. Very concealable. That's the CYA holster. What I've just shown you here is a holster brand that, by virtue of the quality of the molding, the fact that they're very sturdy but add almost no bulk to the gun, the clip that's extraordinarily secure, the sides that completely cover your trigger guard for safety, but leave that trigger guard open on the bottom just so that when your hand comes out, it's on the gun instead of on the holster. Or when you're drawing, your hand's on the gun instead of on the holster. And because the gun locks into place so securely and yet comes out so efficiently. CYA holsters make a great Christmas gift. They're still shipping them out one day after you order right now. Maybe you can get them, maybe not. But nonetheless, if you're looking for a good inside the waistband holster that you can use here, cross throw, in front, wherever you want to use it, and will work for the purpose that you want to use it for, CYA will be hard to beat. Why don't you get you one? Links are down below the video here. If you're watching it on the web page, they'll be down in the web page down below here. Both the website and the CYA store on Amazon are included in those links down there. So please, if you're looking for a holster, a good holster, do yourself a favor and grab one of these. I'm Mark Rogers. Merry Christmas to you if I don't see you again in another video before Christmas, a week from now. And I'll see you very soon in another Christian Gun Owner video.